Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is the very first video of my YouTube channel. I'm currently a product manager at Microsoft and have been in the product manager role for the past 6 years. In the past 6 years, I've learned a lot from my managers, mentors, colleagues, and friends. In this video, I'd like to share 10 things that I wish I would learn earlier in my career as a PM. I hope you'll find those lessons helpful for your PM career as well. Number 10, you are the one to make decisions. After a few months I joined the company, I started taking some small features and projects. And with those projects, I started working on customer scenarios, feature designs, and mockups. In the discussions with my engineers and designers, I always got questions about what is the right thing to do, or we have several options, which is the right one that you think we should go for. At the beginning, I always answer them like, let me think about it, and I may need to check with my manager as well. However, when I took the question to my manager, I found he never gave me the direct answer. Instead, he asked me a few more questions and guided me through how I can make a decision by myself. After a few times, I started realizing I am actually the one that needs to make those decisions, not my manager. As a product manager, you are acting as the CEO of the product, and your colleagues are relying on you to understand customer scenarios, product goals, the product final shape, and you are the one to drive the execution and make sure the team achieves the goal. Executions are made up by a series of decisions. Some decisions can be as big as what product we should build, while others can be as small as which kind of description we should put in the UI. As a product manager, one of your biggest values is to share your input, help the team make the right decisions to achieve the product goal. Number 9, listen before speak. This is the first lesson I learned after I joined Microsoft from my first manager. I know PM's value come from sharing ideas and convince the team to deliver the proposals. So at the beginning, I kind of have urge to contribute my inputs and share my comments in various kind of discussions. Sometimes I even cut off others in the middle of their sentences so that I can have more opportunity to have my voice heard. Soon, my manager told me that I should consider improving my listening skills in our one-on-one. My manager said, Aina, you should know that before we speak, we need to listen. And when we do speak, we need to make sure that our audience is listening to us as well. Listening helps you understand your audience, and that helps tailor your message to address their needs and concerns. And this is the foundation of an effective discussion. We all have willingness to speak, but next time, make sure you hear out others first. I'm sure you will get the attention in return as well when you speak. In the past few years, I always kept that in mind, that I should listen carefully before I speak. And I did find that helped me to build a better product, with a lot of fabulous inputs and ideas that I heard from my customers and my colleagues in various kind of discussions for sure. Number 8, tell a story. As a product manager, part of your job is to understand customer requirements and design the product. Well, the other part of the job is convincing others that your proposals are the right thing to do. You need to spread your ideas, your thoughts, and your proposals to the team and influence others to help you build the product. To do so, I cannot think of any other ways that are more powerful than telling a story. You can tell a story of how customers can use the product end-to-end to show a good picture of the final product shape. You can tell a story of how the new feature can make big number of customers' life easier to help the team see the value of the new feature. And you can tell a story of how customers are suffering with something in the product today to convince the team with the right priority. Telling a story is very powerful, and that helps to get your resources, approvals, priorities for your products and features. Keep that in mind in every discussion and product reviews, and use tools to help others visualize the customer story if needed. Number 7, start together with the team. Product managers always need to prepare the documents, feature specs, and presentations. In the first year as a junior PM, I was very afraid of others seeing my imperfect work. As a result, I tend to hold the work to myself, try to get as much as info, and keep iterating by myself until I think it's perfect to share. However, it turned out that the perfect version I thought was never perfect. Apparently, I lose the opportunities of getting others' input while I keep the work only to myself. I don't have a full view of engineers, designers, or other parts of the product for sure. As a result, my version sets up a good discussion foundation, but I always need to iterate on that several times after I got more inputs from the team. From this, I learned, while it is a good thing to get things better by yourself, you always want to get more from others' inputs as well. So don't wait for your perfect version. Start seeking for others' input and feedback at the early stage, with individuals and small groups first, of course. This helps to build a better final version and give you more time to iterate since you start early. Remember, in big companies, no one can do the product by their own. The product's success depends on all people that work together: product managers, designers, engineers, and other teams, etc. And we all contribute to the product with our expertise. So start together with the team, get their insights, and build a better product together. Number 6, ask for support, not for permission. If you just became a product manager, you might find yourself following what your manager tells you to do. That's normal at the early stage of your career since you have not yet had a full view of your product and you have to learn while doing some small projects. But soon, you will be able to propose the new features and the new improvements by yourself. Product managers are close to our customers, and that in turn gives us the view of our customers' requirements and pain points. One mistake I made for the first few proposals was that I was expecting my manager to give me permission to proceed. For example, I wrote an email to my manager and said, "Hey, I found we got a lot of questions about one setup in the product, and about 30% of the users cannot set it up right at the first try. I think we should improve the workflow to make it easier. Do you think we should do this?" My manager replied to me, "It sounds like the right thing to do. However, I don't have the full context. Do you mind to book some time with the PMs and engineers that you think you'll need help from so we can discuss more and see what we should do for this?" After a few times, I started realizing my manager does not always have the same level of details that I have. Hence, he cannot make a decision for me or just give me his approval to go ahead. Instead, he and the team expect me to provide enough context of my proposal, and more importantly, whether I think it is the right thing to do. You need final approval maybe by the end, but do not start with that. When you share your proposals, start with why you think this is the right thing to do and ask for support that you need to build the feature, not the permission. Number 5, saying no is also a part of the job. In the ideal world, PMs build the nonstar product with just one shoot. But in reality, keeping your product on track can be very difficult. Their customer requests continue to pile up, and there might be other requirements from internal teams as well. You cannot say yes to everything. That will mess up the product roadmap and make your team scramble to meet the original release date. Product managers need to deliver the product with limited resources and limited time. You will have to say no to the cuts so that the team can really focus on the real priority and deliver on time. Note that the no's are not permanent. They are just the no's for this moment, given the current situation. Make sure you record a backlog for those no's, revisit them every now and then, and check if they can turn into a yes sometime in the future. Number 4, don't worry if you don't have all the answers. In the job description, it is always saying product manager manages the direction of the product and helps the team deliver the right product to customers. It sounds like PMs need to know everything about the product and customers. Well, in some cases, that's true, and we have very solid answers about what is the right thing to do. However, there are also a lot of cases that we don't, and it is common, especially when you are building a brand new product. Product manager's job is built on top of lots of hypotheses. Part of your job is to prove those hypotheses right or wrong. So don't worry if you don't have all the answers. Things can still move forward with that, believe me. Go talk with your coworkers and your customers, explore what your competitors are doing, and then make the best hypothesis based on all information that you have. And plan for the experiments or research projects to prove your hypothesis right or wrong. I found some new PMs are very afraid of saying I don't know in the meetings, and they feel that means they are not well prepared. But the truth is, we don't know everything for sure. And if you don't know, you just don't know. Don't be afraid of saying that, and add that as one of your follow-up items. You can always share more insights later offline after the meeting. Number 3, separate the problem from the solution. Product managers understand customer requirements and then design the features of the product to address those problems. After figuring out the problem, we usually will have our proposals of how to resolve the problem. They are tied together to some degree, but you need to be prepared to take a step back to the original problems and rethink the solutions. In our daily job, it is quite common to hear questions like, we cannot deliver the design based on our current infrastructure, or we cannot deliver on time if we have such a big scope of the feature. For those kind of questions, it is always helpful to take a step back and revisit the problem that you are trying to solve, and see if there are any other solutions that you can consider. When the team accepts your solution, that is always exciting, but don't be upset if they don't. As a product manager, your job is to understand customer requirements, define the problem, and then work with the entire team to figure out a solution and execute on that. Your solution idea is your value, but more importantly, your value comes from how you define the problem space and how you figure out a solution with the team and make the team on the same page for that. Number 2, start with the North Star and keep that in mind. PMs define the future of the product, and the future can be planned for next release, next 6 months, next year, or even longer. My mentor once told me that as a PM, you need to always think 6 months ahead and have a picture of the North Star experience that you want to build. One mistake I made was designing the feature with lots of compromises at the very beginning. It was a feature with some technical limitations, and my engineer partner shared those limitations with me at the beginning. And based on those info, I started designing and tuning the experience to work around those limitations. In the feature review meeting, my manager asked me why the experience is not that good. I told him because we have some technical limitations, this is the best we can do, I have tuned the experience a bit by myself. Then he said, that's understandable, but can the technical limitation be resolved in the future? And if so, what's the experience would like by then? Do you have a North Star experience that you think is the best for our customers? I was unprepared for sure, and I went back to rethink the problem, redesign the workflow with the North Star experience. Then, in the upcoming reviews, we did figure out a solution to achieve the North Star goal just in a few phases with several releases. PMs need to make compromises to deliver on time and catch market with limited resources. That's common. But losing the North Star picture is very dangerous and can lead the product to the wrong direction. So make sure you start with the product North Star experience, design for the best, and then make compromises if you need to. When you make compromises, make sure you keep the North Star in mind since it's your final goal and you would like to get there sooner or later. Number 1, data-driven. You may come from different backgrounds, tech or non-tech, but make sure you learn some data analytical skills in your spare time. Product managers need to make a lot of decisions to make the product right, and data will support you for those decisions for sure. You'll also need some data analysis to verify the success of your product. In your daily work, you may need to analyze the customer usage data and understand their pain points. You may need to get the feature usage data to help you decide the priority. And you may need to define the KPIs of the product success and build the dashboard to present the result to the entire team. Data is always a strong support when you tell a story as well. You may not have the data ready all the time, however, and the data analyst team or the developers may not always have time for you to pull the data that you want. That's why you also want to be prepared with some data analysis skills. Not only getting the insights from the data, but also how you can write queries to get the data in the format that you want. You might want to start with the most popular analysis tool like SQL and Python. There are a lot of good lessons you can find free on YouTube. You don't need to write production-ready code for sure, of course, but make sure you know how to do basic stuff like drawing different data sets with aggregations, with filters, and with some basic format transformations. I'm sure that will make your life easier as a PI. Well, that's all, and I hope you found those lessons that I learned over the past several years useful to you as well. I will share more experiences as a product manager in this channel. I'm sure you'll find the channel helpful if you are at the early stage of your PM career or if you're trying to apply for a PM job. If you like my content, please give me a thumb up. And if you have any questions for me, please feel free to leave a comment so that I can try to address those questions in the future videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye!